Hi everybody, welcome back. This is Sabrina and welcome to Casting Cauldron. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by, and if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. Tonight we are continuing the series on the dark moon and this one is heralding in, as we know now, the dark moon heralds in the new constellation coming up above, which for me here in the Western world is Gemini. So tonight, it's not quite 0%. The dark moon is basically starting. Tomorrow it will be at its peak, and then the energies will also be residual, lingering the day after, to maybe another 2 days. So at this time you would want to gear workings for either, say, justice, an initiation with a new spirit, or resting to regenerate, because the star energy is going to be fully available to you with the dark moon. So this astrological sign, I know from experience and from the Key of Solomon, lends itself to reconciliation and having things return. Anything with RE, well, no, that's not quite right. Things can be returned to you that have been lost, people or things. This is a good time for that. And it does say that in the Key of Solomon. Now, it was in June about this time 2 years ago on a solar eclipse that I did my initial offering connection to Astarte and had a remarkable experience immediately. I did it on a Thursday, and I asked for a compatible mate, but what Astarte decided was that I really needed to relieve the pain that was on my heart about my daughter not communicating with me anymore. And I was having a little bit of financial struggle. And what happened was, the following morning, I got a message on my phone that said, "Your phone bill has been paid." Now, what she led me to do was go to my daughter at night in sleep while we were both asleep. And let her feel the love that I've always had for her by showing her in the dream, kissing her all over her face and telling her I loved her and that I missed her. And I saw her smiling, and I know that she felt it. And so she decided, I think, to give me a Mother's Day combined with my birthday, which is in July, present. She paid for the past due phone bill and the phone bill for the current month. And I was paying for her data, but yeah, it was a substantial amount, and it was a really great surprise. Now, love language goes along with that. Her love language is gifts. Whether we agree with that or not, that's her love language. So, this is the time of year now where you would do workings, if you want to, geared towards you also getting validation. I believe it was in June one time I had encouraged someone to apologize to me and make me look better in the eyes of someone who was blaming me for something. And we ran into this person at the grocery store who was, extremely happy to see me and asking me how I was. And at that moment, the other person began to see that this was not my fault, and that whatever problems were going on with him had to do with him, and so I was vindicated. So you could be vindicated at this time of year. You may have to do a working. I've done several different types of workings, but it was Astarte who actually led me to influence a female. Getting lost items back, I don't know that I've done a working for that yet. So I thought I had done the dark moon in Pisces, but I can't find it, so I may have to do that one again. Otherwise, I believe this is the last one in the series. Going again with Gail Wood's book, Dark Moon Rituals, page 45. Dark Moon in Gemini, the sign of the twins, which, by the way, is the reason why this month was chosen for marriages. It is about the reconciliation of the opposites. The dark moon path continues its inward journey into Gemini, an air sign. The breath of air that was from Aquarius is now a wind in Gemini. So if you recall, this time of year, I experienced Lilith for the first time. She was a gust of wind. As we move deeper into the dark, we greet the mother goddess. So if you remember in Aries, I believe it was, we had the maiden, now we have the mother. The picture of Gemini is that of the twins. According to Greek myth, the twins of the zodiac were Castor and Pollux, two people who looked so much alike that they became twins. They loved each other so much that they were twins in their hearts. Pollux was the immortal son of Zeus, while Castor was mortal. When Castor was killed, Pollux could not accompany him to the land of the dead. Pollux mourned so greatly that Zeus allowed them to alternate every 6 months, spending 6 months on the land of the dead and 6 months in heaven. That divides the year in half. We're at the middle of the year. Okay, in astrology, Gemini is portrayed as bright, intelligent, studious, and rational. The inward spiral of Gemini is someone who is flighty, gossipy, shallow, and superficial. Geminis are often seen as people with double personality, dark side, light side, or two-faced. We often see the mother as a dual personality as well. Gemini brings us our first experience of the dark goddess as the mother. As Gemini, she is the air mother. Air is the element that cannot be a gentle breeze, that can be a gentle breeze that cools us, or a fierce wind that blows everything away. Okay, it is the intellect. And as I've been learning more and more about Gemini, I do have a lot of mercurial aspects in my chart, and then I recently found out my ex is really more like a Gemini. They can be, think of Johnny Depp. They can be very creative, very, very talkative. Okay, if they're not talking, they're texting. And artistic, musical, creative writing, creative editing, painting, sketching, anything of the artistic nature. Just think of Johnny Depp and all of the different ways that he makes characters and how he comes up with his personalities for his characters and how he loves to do it. They're like jokesters. They can be very playful. And depending on other aspects in their chart, that can be lightening the mood by cracking a joke. So if you wanted to do a working to help you with your writing abilities, this would be a good month to do it. Anything that has to do with learning, absorbing material, taking a hiatus and reading a lot, being creative, painting, writing, sketching, and communications. Starting a blog, starting a vlog, making more vlogs, starting a new series. Just think of all those things in that vein of what can be done or accomplished. This is the time of year to harness these energies. And it does include hand fastings and marriages. My parents got married in June, and I also got married in June. Wasn't really our plan, but it worked out that way. So I think we got married almost on the same day as my parents. So that's kind of spooky. Trying to think of what else you could do. It's not really that physical. You could find that you have more ability to conceptualize and process information better. So if you've been trying to figure out what supplements or what minerals or what exercise maybe you need to do, it can click for you this month. This is the month last year that I actually started going to the fitness room 3 times a week, and on those days I would come back in the house and juice the carrots, the celery, and the parsley. And that started kickstarting my weight loss journey. So I'm hoping that I can lose another 12 pounds this summer and then maintain an exercise program. Now this is also relates to travel. I forgot. The element of air also relates to travel. So if you're planning trips for water, a cruise, or airplane, or boat, or car, which I talked to a friend of mine about possibly going to Yellowstone, although I just heard it closed, or to a local river. They call it a beach, but it's really just more like a lake. We might be taking a little trip out of town. And then, of course, the other ladies that I work with, they are off for the summer, and so they're going to be taking trips together to some places where they can see different kinds of fibers for creating their blankets, scarves, socks, whatever else it is that they're doing. And I might, of course, be doing DoorDash, so that's going to be local city travel for me. So these are things that might come up for you, and I hope that this has been helpful or interesting. I'm thinking of having a second live tomorrow on Sunday around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. However, it is Father's Day. So if you or someone you know is a father, please happy Father's Day. And then I will probably not do the live tomorrow, but we'll be doing my live on Wednesday at 7 p.m. I believe that one is going to follow up on some discussion that we just had about foundations for your magical practice. One of the very first things that you would do when you're stepping on the nature-based path. All right, that's it for this video on this Dark Moon series, Dark Moon in Gemini. And I will see you, hopefully, on Wednesday.